Hey, community. Here's what's brewing today.
Circuit Party Boo Boo. Oof.
Powerball Blues.
And Ask Your Aunties Life Decisions. So get your cups ready for Minority Report.
Hey, welcome to Minority Report. It's Auntie Kerel.
And it's Auntie Dawon.
And it's Auntie Landon.
Hey. And anymore, it's not even filling in for nobody. She just pop in when she pop in.
Yeah, hey.
This Sherry Shepherd ass.
And a Navarro.
Don't be Wendy. Don't be Wendy. Don't be Wendy.
Ooh.
Who's not here?
Oh, don't do Don't do that.
Coming in hot.
That is.
And Jerrell's not here.
Yeah, he's got a situation going on, so
yeah. We're thinking of you, boo.
We love you, though.
Yeah.
But
we still gonna crack these jokes, though.
Period.
Still gonna crack these jokes.
And I guess I'm all low key. Maybe he didn't show up because he's the one that won that $2 billion. Right? We all showed up, so y'all know we still working.
Yo, I told my manager, I was like, yo, don't expect me up in this bitch tomorrow if I win. I'm just letting you know right now. I hope you find your replacement, but that's a fucking wrap.
Oh, I'm gonna be there. Y'all ain't gonna know. It's gonna be so smooth the transition. It's just gonna be like you might get like a little lump sum or something like that in your little bank accounts, and be like, okay, that's that hush money.
Well,
hey, community, welcome to Minority Report.
In some states, you don't even have to put your shit out there. Like here in New York State, you can be anonymous.
Yeah.
So y'all ain't knowing shit.
You ain't got to show up. You ain't got to show up like that Asian man who showed up in a chicken costume, hiding from his wife and his kid.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody finding out.
No, it's me. But yeah. So I don't even play the lottery. I'm not even like a big gambler and shit like that. But I was just, and we'll get to it. I was in Palm Springs and I had to connect on the way back through Phoenix. And they had one of the little vending machines or whatever. And that line was so fucking long. But I had a 2-hour layover. So I was like, okay, let me get me something to eat right quick. Then it was like right next to the vending machine. I was like, you know what? Do I got me some cash on me? Had like a little 20 in my little carry-on that I just keep random cash just in case. It's like, well, hopefully I don't need this cash later on because I'm sure about to give me a little ticket. But this shows you how often I don't gamble. I was on that screen. I was so confused. I was like, what do I pick? And then I was like, what's a power play? So I'm over here trying to not to hold up the line and trying to quickly Google everything. I was like, whatever.
Those bitches can wait. They'll be all right.
I had no clue. I was like, oh my God.
Ain't nobody going nowhere.
So but how y'all two doing today?
Broke. Girl, I woke up this morning. I was like, damn.
Right.
Again.
Honey, I know.
Oh, God. I've been daydreaming about this fucking Powerball for the last 3 weeks. Every day that it goes up, I'm like, is today going to be the day? Right. Is today going to be the day? And nope, ain't come yet.
I don't know that.
How much would you spend? I know that Jerrell, you just said you don't play the lottery a lot, but okay, assuming that it continues to grow,
right?
How much money would you put in before you say, okay, I'm done, I'm out?
Well, it's done. They announced.
I know, but I'm saying, assuming that it continues to grow.
If it continued to grow, how much money would I continue to gamble? I don't know. Like $20 to me, I'm like, okay. Like that $20-$40, that's fine.
That's a thrill.
Anything more than that, I'm like, okay, this is getting a little crazy because I'm realistic knowing that the odds are against me,
Mm-hmm.
And I ain't gonna need to take out all this money and get a second job just because I'm trying to win 2.04 billion. So maybe $100 tops.
Okay.
Maybe.
What about you,
that's
Landy?
Like pushing it.
I'm not giving no bitch $100.
She said, I was born broke. I'm gonna stay broke. I'm gonna die broke. She said, I'm not getting bamboozled.
No, I'm not giving $100. Listen, I don't even want to pay $100 for these bills much. Just throw $100 for me, possibly, most likely not going to win. And yes, that's why they call it a gamble. I guess 20. I got 5 on it.
Well, it got to be at least 6. It got to be those intervals of 2.
I got 6 on it. I'm not a lottery person now. You get me into Vegas, you get me to a casino, I'll play some slots. Like,
you said it right the first time.
Yeah, I said it right the first time. I'll play some slots. Yes, I'll play them both. But no, I'm not giving more than $20. Listen, I don't carry cash, so if I have to go get cash in order to win cash, no.
How much you putting on it, Dawon? How much did you put on it?
I would probably put, like, again, if it continues to do what it had been doing, because $1.9 billion.
Yeah.
And then it went up to
like
2.04 from last night since they didn't do the drawing. I was like, how it go up another like?
I would over a period of like 2 weeks for it to build like this.
Yeah,
I would probably, and this would be once a year, probably do like 250.
Okay,
250. Yeah, I would say 250. 250, maybe 3, but that's it. Yeah,
first,
because
we've
here's the
had
thing.
an episode like this before, because like I feel like this is becoming a somewhat occurring thing. Like it feels like at least once a year there's one where people are going ape shit for, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like we talked about this on a previous episode, and I can't remember if we talked about what would be the location, like if you were gonna buy your first home somewhere. Because for me, I'd probably want to just travel. Maybe I'd keep my Philly house and just be traveling, and then when I'm back in the States, okay, at least I got a home base or whatever.
You would stay in Philly?
That's a good question. If I won now, would we keep this? We would probably keep this as just a rental or something. Then, yeah, might get rid of it, have another little something. yeah, I don't know.
I'm sorry if I had.
I doubt we would stay in Philly.
I'd be out,
girl.
I'd be out.
Gone. Bye.
Right.
Buy a house.
Yeah, I doubt we would live in Philly full time, but it's just like until we decided. Keep it and then we can sell it later. Like I think that's the joys of what $2 billion can afford you. Is like, hold on to it. It is what it is. We got friends in the city.
I'll be getting rid of everything. I'll be getting rid of everything. Clothes, toothbrushes.
You buy new
everything new. Just everything. Like, oh, this bottle of Don Julio, trash. I got that Drake money. Like, who cares?
Dollar bills are
rinky-dink artwork. Oh, it wasn't for me.
Done. I mean, out. Oh my gosh, I would be so out.
So you wouldn't have a home base?
No, I would have a home base, but it wouldn't be this apartment.
Right, it would still be New York. Right? It wouldn't be this apartment. I know that's right.
Not at all.
Would it still be New York?
Yeah, it would be. I'd have a place in New York. I'd probably have a place in Chicago. I'd probably have a place in the Caribbean somewhere, probably Puerto Rico, because I like Puerto Rico. Yeah. And then I would
Italy
do
too, because we know how you like you some Italy
girl. Let Luca, here I come. Oh, I just have a little villa over there in the south of Tuscany. But no, this little apartment, gone.
Right.
Gone.
Linda, where would you live?
I ain't telling y'all bitches.
We pop up.
Look,
y'all
community,
pop up real quick.
Community, you will know when Landon hits the lottery because she won't be subbing for the Minority Report anymore.
It just been the two of us. I'm like, well,
right refrigerator.
Ooh, white refrigerator
podcast.
1 star. 1 star.
Right, she said
1 star.
Oh, but, and by the way, speaking of 1 star, community, thank you for looking out for us about last week's episode. I don't know what the hell happened, why it was going in and out like that. But y'all was good looking out. And it was funny because I was in Palm Springs, so I was 3 hours behind. So didn't even really look at the socials or nothing that morning. And finally, I just happened to see it to get on before I was going to go to the airport. And I'm like, a couple of folks had like been like, oh, by the way. And then, of course, Smithy. He said, ooh, the ghetto, 1 star.
Wow.
I mean, he keeps it real.
You right?
That's what we can count on
There's no
Smithy
lie in
for.
that. I was like, shit. Oh, Lord. But yeah,
Where would I- where-
good looking out.
where would I-
It would be MIA on here.
Yo, out. Socials deactivated. Pussy poppin' somewhere. I would definitely be somewhere out in some islands. Definitely would not be in New York. They'll be all right. They don't need my money. Are you're not about to get this money through all your taxes. You're not doing it.
Right on that.
No, you're not doing it. So
Sure, you gotta go to the tax havens. Well, there's some the states. A lot of the tax haven states are Florida, and Texas, and boo boo states.
So
just re-electing fucking Mark Rubio down there and DeSantis. So fuck all that. Anyway, but yeah, I need to go to like Monte Carlo or something like that. That's where a lot of the sports players go. They'll like say
Turks and Caicos. Turks and Caicos somewhere. Just not
That's
here.
like on my list. I want to go to Turks and Caicos.
Me too.
Like for a vacation. I've never been there. I want to go.
Same here. I feel like I'd get very.
I don't know if I'm
bronzed.
gonna be able to do it
Very
though in like the
bronzed
next
and
year.
glowy down there.
Yeah.
Little fantasy. That's what I have in my mind. For some reason, Turks and Caicos seems like to be another kind of color, another kind of melanation going on.
I feel like you gotta have 10 bracelets to go to Turks and Caicos. You gotta be jewelried up, you know?
Ooh.
Like you gotta have your Lenny Kravitz necklaces, like your Cree Summer, like bracelets and bangles
Give me
and
some box
whatnot.
braids.
I'll tell you what.
And you gotta make sure you gotta have a turban and a caftan. Like it has boho chic written all over it. Even your underwear got tassels, bitch. When you're in Turks and Caicos.
Gold.
Right.
Gold.
Fantasy.
I'll tell you one thing I would get with that money. I'd get me some surgery to get them Lenny Kravitz abs, though.
Yeah.
Fuck the gym. I'd be like, just fuck the gym. I'm just getting the surgery. Shit.
That's a fine ass man.
That's a fine ass man.
That is a fine ass man.
Look at the hot flashes, honey. God
I'm sorry. My mind just went.
Honey,
To Lenny Kravitz.
We seen the dangle pop.
Hey
on
Lenny,
up
if you want to come on the podcast, we would love to have you.
Oh, got me sweating now. That's a man, Maury. That's a man.
That is a whole ass man for sure.
It's aged quite nicely. Thank you, good times. It's that good times money done set him up good for life. Oh Lord. Oh God. What else? I forget what I was about to say. Going from that, thinking about I had a thought. I don't even know where my list done went. Shit. Yeah. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. This time change is for the birds.
It's boo boo.
Girl, it got so dark in Palm Springs during that time change that last night there. Because you know that shit go behind the mountains. It's a wrap. It was dark at like 4 p.m. I was like,
damn.
I was like, this is for the birds, girl. But surprisingly, I have a nice voice. My voice is here this time. This show.
Oh wow.
Look at that, you know.
Okay.
I didn't scream too much. And honestly, the last night, so shout out to our friends Issa and Josh. The last night, we were like at a pool party, blah, blah, blah. And then we're like, you know what, let's go grab something to eat. And we're sitting there. and it's maybe like 8:30, 9 o'clock. And there was like another party that started at 9 that we were on our way to, but we're like, okay, let's eat before it. Bitch, this how you know you getting old. We was sitting there eating, and I was like, bitch, I could go to bed right now. And what we did, he used to say, you know what? Me too, low key. And you know, Josh was like, shit, I'll go to bed.
Right. Y'all didn't go to Del Taco?
No, we did not go to Del Taco. No, we went to, there's some new little restaurant in kind of by the neighborhood that we went to that stays up a little later. And everyone was like, oh, yeah, you got to try this place. But sure enough, in bed by like 10:30, 11 o'clock that last night. Like just laying there on my phone, fell asleep.
Yeah.
I was like, that was a perfect end into the weekend. But yeah, shout out to Palm Springs Pride, the second year in a row doing that. It's a good time out there. I love it out there.
I got to get my ass out there. I have never been. I've been all over this goddamn country. And
we on it. We on it.
Even been. I mean, like, is that confirmed though?
I was about to say,
confirmed, or are we still?
I guess.
You the next time.
Are we still dicking around?
You know what? Wait.
They invite you the next time we go to Palm Springs.
But she better. We supposed to be going. We supposed to be going out this weekend. Her and I.
Yes, we are. My brother's 50th, 500th birthday, because that nigga's old. His birthday is on Friday, so I'll be in Albany for like a hot second, and then on Saturday, I'm gonna be ready to get out of there because I can sometimes, you know, when you with your family and then you like, I need to get out of here. So I'm gonna be ready to.
Look at these train tickets I might pop through.
I was thinking about that. I was like, is he really going? Would he really? Would you?
We'll see. I'll save it for after the podcast.
Yes, we are going out. But yes, Dawon, you were invited this next time. So we on.
We'll see.
What?
Like community, y'all didn't heard it. So we'll see.
You know how bad it be with
the receipts.
Right.
You know, I know.
Episode 197.
What? How long are we into the podcast?
Timestamp 15.59.
What is this about? What? 16 minutes in? So the receipts are there.
Yes.
But it was interesting being out there just because last week we were just talking about just like the masculinity and femininity thing. And a lot of times these kind of bigger gay weekends turns into kind of like the muscle-bound man and all this stuff. And it was like kind of on my mind just to kind of see how I approached that weekend, just to see if I still had any kind of triggers that I wasn't even thinking about when we answered that question last week. And I don't think I really do too much. Like I was still doing my like, it's a kind of fantasy moment. And wear my little Speedo, it is what it is. But it's just interesting. You kind of look, and Palm Springs isn't the most diverse place on earth. But over time, at least a few years that I've gone, each time I've gone to kind of these bigger weekends, starting to see a little more sprinkle of black people, a couple more Asian men, a little more Middle Eastern, just a little more brownness in the sea of old white. But it's kind of cool. And then I was just like, even if it's not as diverse out there, I love looking at my friend group and just seeing all the melanation that's out there, you know. But then and that's a controllable I can do, you know. It's just like, okay, if we're at a location that might not be the most diverse on earth,
you are the diversity.
My crew,
you're kind of right. It's there,
and that's not just like black, like it's Middle Eastern, it's white, it's all the above. That I was like, okay, this is kind of fly to be that group then that brings that little speck of pepper to a sea of salt, you know, and so it's just interesting to just over time continue to kind of be in these situations, just thinking about these questions while you're in the midst of the party and all that stuff, just saying, okay, how am I feeling? Like, am I truly being who I feel like I need to be? Am I bringing the representation that I feel like I can contribute to this community? If so, that's pretty damn cool. And then if not, why am I feeling this way right now kind of thing. So yeah, I was glad that episode was last week as I was going to that weekend, just to kind of see, because again, you go to some of these parties and you're going to get these dudes that are just beefy and the muscle-bound man and this and that, and that's what a lot of those weekends turn into, and maybe that's what they put on these posters and things like that. And to feel, I was like, you're going to get the body you get, so to feel comfortable in the body you get in this shit like that, like, yeah. It was kind of interesting. But it made me think of this question to ask y'all too, though. You go to some of these like circuit parties and parties like this, and sometimes it be the smells. Do you guys? What is your thought about the what they stereotype as the manly smell, and maybe not wearing deodorants and things like that? Do you A, like it? B, if so, is there a line to where it's too much, or you're like, nope, I don't want to smell not a hint of nothing that's not Creed?
Oh,
What do you think, Landon? Because you shook your head.
Look, growing up, my mama taught me, put on lotion, put on deodorant, do not embarrass me out in these streets. So that is just a force of habit for me, like hygiene. Listen, I'm bouncing around like a Power Ranger on this group fitness stage. These legs are going to be lotioned. Okay. So I guess it's different when you go to a circuit party. It's natural just because there's so many people.
Yeah.
It's one thing for it to be like, okay, you wear deodorant and you're still going to sweat because there's so many people and there's less air. Thinking about the science of it. And then there's some people whose initials are BO.
not Bill Nye, the science guy over here.
Science guy.
Yeah, like the H2O and the monoxide.
The air conditioning right there with the body.
Learn a thing or two.
The temperature's rising, so then your BO level goes up, but then you got the ones with the initials of BO.
The more you know, bitch. No, I guess in a circuit party it's just gonna happen. But
Right.
if we at a bar or we out chilling with friends and you stink, I'm gonna call your ass out. I'll just let you know right now. What you think, Dawon?
No, I can't deal. I'm not. No,
It's a no for me, dog.
It's a no for me, dog.
I can't remember. I shared my black party story on the podcast before, right?
I feel like, here's the funny thing: like we talk so much,
So much.
on the podcast and outside the podcast, because I'd be like, "Was that on the podcast or was that outside?" Well, for those that don't remember, what was that story?
Okay, so back in my circuit party days, I used to go to the Black Party, which is here in New York, and it was predominantly like a leather party, So it's like, here I am, like nubile Ohioan, like coming here to see all these, 6'4" international menses that have made their way from all around the world to New York to wear to don their little muscle gear and just titties bouncing and all that kind of shit.
Listen,
Dick swinging.
It's great. It was great, and and over the years, the party had got more and more fetishized. So there used to be like a section, like they would split up the dance floor with a curtain. And on one side of the dance floor, it's like, just people dancing and, doing whatever. And on the other side, they had like sex shows, fisting shows, like all that kind of stuff. And then upstairs was like a black room where, anything goes up there.
For our straight listeners, I wonder if they know what fisting is. Do we need to explain fisting?
I think
know
it's
you don't.
Self-explanatory.
No.
By the word.
That's why God invented Google.
Lather them
Yes.
arms and hands on up.
Maybe if we were talking about pegging or some of these other kind of things. But at any rate, so over the years, it had become more progressively like mixed. So like the fetish stuff that was kind of like on a little bit on the fringe in this environment was starting to make its way. And then the last year I went, we got there around midnight, and just group of friends, we're having fun, we're on the dance floor, blah blah blah. And probably about an hour in, this asshole.
Wait, was it a real asshole or?
Well, here's the story. This person was like probably 6'3", 6'4", maybe 260, like not muscular, but like big, hairy, whatever. And that's not a problem. But this motherfucker unclipped his overalls, bent down on the dance floor, and took a shit.
You did tell this story.
I said,
And
I'm out.
Dawon retired.
Done. I'm out. No. On the dance floor. No. I'm sorry. And listen, this is not about, discriminating against fetishes and whatnot, but I have rights too, and so do my goddamn nostrils. Damn it. Like, no.
And my temple.
That is so low vibrational. Like, there is a time and a place for that kind of stuff. So when it comes to smells, no, yeah. I don't fucks with them at all. I'm traumatized. PTSD. I start watering up, nose get all scrunched up, and I start looking for my purse and just, I'm out. I'm
gonna go home and make me a pie.
Oh my God. I did not hear that story. Yeah. Oh my God. That is fucking hilarious.
Yep. And the wild thing is my friend stayed. The group, they stayed. They're like, we paid $200 for these tickets. We're staying. I'm like, honey, go, stay. Make sure you take your shoes off when you come home. Like, I'm going home and going to bed. I don't give a damn. My whole night, my whole weekend is ruined.
Oh, what a shitty night. What a shitty night.
Girl.
I find I almost have to separate the smells because, like you said, there can be some it must be doo-doo smells.
Musk is different. Musk
is a little
different. Right. A little different.
So if you musty, then I'm like,
well,
okay, no.
There's a difference between musk with a K and must
with a T. One is okay and one is not.
Look, if you're not washing your hands, your legs, and your ass, you got a T.
Yes. Absolutely. 1,000%. So, like a little, just you dancing and just hot, you sweating, and
Yeah.
And it
that's gonna happen.
You might get a little. Okay, I don't mind that. That's kind of there's a little sexual energy with that.
Yeah.
I'm not really attracted to them pheromones, but I don't mind them.
Right.
They don't send me to seventh heaven, but but I'm not running for the door either.
But when it turns that corner to TY Street, you're like, oh, okay. So it was just interesting because like at this certain party, it was a new venue, and so the venue was a little smaller than like years past and all that. And it was just so fucking hot in there. And then the fire marshal got called, so you couldn't even like get in there because they oversold the space and all this stuff. So people were getting like heated out in that line. It was crazy. But once you got in there, and the music was kind of okay. That's another thing about certain parties where I really need to learn these DJs that I do like and don't like.
Yeah. Like
I need at least a little pop culture moment, a little words in the song here and there.
Yeah.
Just the whole night is just okay. Give me a you might break my soul. Give me a little house moment. But in there it was just so hot and everyone was just sweating. That certain sections, I was like, okay, this feels all right in here. And then the other sections, I was like, you did not wash your hands, your legs, and your ass. Like, so I was sitting there thinking, of course, everything just pops in my head. I'm like, oh, let's talk about this on the podcast just to see where is that line. The community, let us know. Do you, like, we don't want to yuck nobody's yum. So what's your energy in these gay situations on those weekends? But
you do you, but don't be doing you while you're doing me with that.
Keep that doo-doo away from me. I'm sorry.
Don't shit's on the floor.
Just keep it away. I'm sorry. Because at a certain point, the damage is already done. That's the problem. Yeah. It already then went into your olfactory senses and your nose, and it's a wrap.
Like, I think it got it in my mouth. I think that.
Why do I taste corn? Like, this is.
And then
No.
and the crazy thing, somebody. Oh, this might be TMI. Close your ears. Somebody's attracted to that and wants to kind of get like you just
In
know
it.
there's that scene.
Yep.
So it's just like someone got.
I'm
turned
not
on
listen.
by
I'm
that
not
shit,
knocking
low-key.
anybody's hustle
At all.
For me,
She said it's bedtime.
yeah. No.
If anything, it seems just a little disrespectful because why subject you don't know who is into that and who's not. So why can't you do that with your little friends over there over in the corner and do what you want to do and let everybody else do what they want to do? You don't know if everybody's into that.
Yeah, circuit party promoters, y'all need like a heat section. You know,
A poop section?
A heat.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
trying to be respectful, you know.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
just like this is where you go if you want to like, get down and dirty.
But over here.
Oh my goodness.
Because the one thing that is kind of cool when you do, because there is almost a sense of freedom, if for lack of better words, I guess, that you kind of feel where maybe you are dancing with these dudes and things like that you don't get in your everyday life. That you're just like, okay, I've been in corporate America all week long. Like shit, I just want to like go out here, take my shirt off, and dance with my titties out and all that stuff.
And shit on the floor.
And maybe I shit on the floor, right? See, I can't say that.
Won't
Not
be me.
a sound bite for the future that said Kerel did it. That ain't my ministry.
Will not be me.
That like I always struggle where it's just like, where's that line? And then I guess it just comes down to like you just maybe know what parties are what and navigate it that way in a sense. But yeah.
I was at a party for market days, and I'm not going to say that I was surprised, but I take a little bit of issue with the like copious amounts of just blatant sexual activity that's happening on the dance floor. Like, it's fine if it's like, like a sprinkling throughout or whatever, but like at least the one that I went to in Chicago was just, you couldn't even escape.
Yeah.
It's just like everywhere. Like,
yeah.
Don't they have things called bathhouses where you can go do that shit in front of other people? Like, this is supposed to be where you're supposed to be dancing. Now I can't dance because you getting, like Eiffel Towered over here, and then you over here, like, getting swung on. Like, just ruin the whole damn fantasy for me.
And maybe that's even in my head. There's like a line for me too, where like I'm like, okay, it is what it is. I know what's gonna happen. But you're right. There's certain ones where it's like that's all it is. Where you're like, well, that ain't really what I'm here for. I wanted to hear some good ass music and shake my titties and look at maybe a few little things or no. But then again, it's just like, then I shouldn't put myself in that position. So like that's where I kind of almost get kind of torn sometimes, that because I don't know. I don't know where those lines are, and then are there certain parties that maybe that line isn't crossed as often, and I just don't know the whole circus scene. It's just usually a Pride weekend. I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna attend maybe one of these parties, one a weekend, and show up, and I don't know who the DJs are. I don't know who promoting. I don't know who.
I get it if you're doing like a gay cruise.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what you're getting into. It's all about, people who are doing drugs, having sex, and doing drugs and having sex.
Certain, let's specify. There are certain cruises more so than others. Let's maybe even specify that, because
reasonably though, you can assume that if you're going on a gay cruise, that's the shit that's going down, right?
Okay.
But like a dance party, sis. Like, come on.
I'm kind of with Kerel on this in that, number one, again, not judging, people for what they're into, generally speaking. I guess I just remove myself from situations that I don't want to be in. So if I see over in this section that somebody's, you know, get a little sucky, a little slob in the knob, I might watch depending on how good the dick is. Get some tips. But
give them some pointers.
Like, give them some pointers.
Said, not like this, like this.
I might start selling tickets. But I just remove myself. I would just remove myself from that situation because at the end of the day, I can't control how good that dick sucking is over there. I'm just gonna have to go over here and just do my thing and just leave it be because I don't know what's gonna be at that party. I really don't. So I just have to remove myself from that situation. And you know what? I'll pull a Kerel and be like, I'm going home. Yeah.
I mean, you know,
if there was,
for the most part, I'm like, okay, it is what it is. But there are times where you're just like, okay, that like maybe that's.
Sometimes I might get my binoculars if it's Austin Wolf. Listen. I get my binoculars over there. Shit.
What were you about to say, Dawon?
I just wonder if like, and again, I'm not knocking anybody's like thing. You know, I'm not knocking it. All I'm saying is if I'm going to a dance party, I want a motherfucking dance. I don't want to have to like, you know,
watch your step.
Right. I just, I don't. And maybe that's just me being prudish or whatever. And I'm okay with owning that or whatever. So community, y'all let me know. But I just want, like, if there was a party that had a dancing, I'm just here to have a good time to the music, dancing only section, I'd be down for that. and then you can have your little sucky, fucky, you know, do everything, anything, anywhere, anytime, you know, curtain that shit off, and then, you know, give them how much ever space, but then give us people that just want to like rock out.
Dance.
But listen. If I'm in that section, I might take a peek or two and just decide if I want to.
But see, that's a very different thing than,
go to that
than choosing.
And then next thing you know, you're gonna be like, "Where Landon go?"
Look, when people disappear, you know what the fuck is going on. Period. And whether you at the gay bar, the supermarket, or the circuit party,
the crow,
a back alley.
When they disappear, you know what the hell's going on. So it ain't no mystery. It's like you just keep on dancing. So it's like it's not about like shaming people for, you know, for being exhibitionists, for being, you know, sexually open and blah 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 blah. It's not about that.
Yeah.
If you want to do, I think it's the assault for me. It's it's just, this is not something I bargained for. This is not something I wanted. This is not something I planned for, and I was welcoming the experience. Right. I want to have an option. So if I'm paying my ticket to come in and dance, give me a section where at least I can do that. Okay. And I don't have to see, you know, I don't have to be bothered.
OnlyFans Live.
You know, and have another section, you know, where shit goes down. And then if I want to trot on over there as I'm, you know, getting my refill of my water or, you know, like having a little break, that's cool because then it's an option.
I might encourage them.
Don't assault me. Don't like, I don't.
Some of these men though could assault me.
You suck that dick, dude. You get that dick.
I mean, was there like a lot of sexual acts going on at this event that you went to?
I saw a couple, but not as much as I thought it was going to be. Okay. Honestly, like there was one couple that I saw multiple times, and I think they were just kind of giving everybody a show. They was making the rounds through the whole club. Yeah. And actually, I think them and then this other kind of like little Twinkie kid. I saw him just sucking dudes off. Mom, close your ears. God, I'm just realizing all this. Anybody that know me like that, close your ears.
Different strokes.
Other than that, no. Like, but a lot of people were dancing actually. But for me, I was like, okay, this music ain't hitting like it needs to hit. So that's what it ultimately comes down. Like, I'm for the most part fine with most of the whatever the environment I'm in. Especially if the music is hitting. But the music was,
do you know who the DJ was?
So fucking hot. That I was like, okay, I literally say like an hour. hour and a
Do
half.
you know?
Maybe.
Do you know who the DJ was?
Oh God, I could look it up. I don't want to say
It's okay.
their names. I don't want to bash them, but there was. I want to say this name. We were at Hunter's, and there's a black DJ named Jinx Mirage out of San Diego. I'm putting this up as a clip, even if I just got to send it to this person in the DMs. Fire. One of the best DJs I've heard in a while. So, community, I ain't being getting paid, nothing. Jinx Mirage. Fire. If you see this person DJing anywhere, it's worth it. Like I don't know how they identify. They're I'm all about a transition. Their transitions were so fucking fire. Like I was Josh in that moment. I was like, this motherfucker is so good. Like it's incredible to me.
Was Todrick there? Did you ask him if he paid his rent?
Oh damn, Todrick was there. I missed it though. Where were we at when Todrick came on? Were we at dinner? I forget. We were somewhere where we're gonna try to make it, and we didn't make it in time. So we're like, okay, it is what it is. But yeah, he was there. But I missed him, and I've seen him a couple times, so I wasn't too pressed to go hurry up. But I mean, whatever you say about Todrick, whatever people's opinion about Todrick, he's talented. So in that setting, I'm there to see him perform, and so I like him performing. What he does in his personal life, and if he's a good human being or not, I don't know him personally. People make up their own minds about him, but talent-wise, he's a talented guy. So, all right, didn't even think it was going to go that long for that topic, but we'll take a quick little tea break. We interrupt this episode for very important information.
That's right. You've been asking for it for a long time, and we have heard you.
Yep, it's been a long time coming, but it's finally here.
Yo
AunTeas
got
merch! Hey! That's right. You know what? We got tees, we got long tees, we got sweatshirts, we got fanny packs, there's just a whole gamut of stuff out there. So go and check that out.
We are so appreciative of your love and support, and we are so excited to launch it. Girl, where can we find it at?
Ma'am, they can head right over to minorityareport.com to check out the selection.
That's right. That's MINORITEA report.com.
Woo! I'm about to go get me some myself. Alrighty, ladies. What time is it?
Ask
your
AunTeas. Come on, choir directors.
Yes.
This was a quick one. It just says, "Hey aunties, looking back on your life thus far, do you feel there have been any decisions that have altered the course of your life?" That's kind of a deep one, or I guess it doesn't even have to be that deep. Huh.
I would say, so the short answer is yeah. Long answer is, I would almost venture to say that almost any decision that you make is going to alter your life in a significant kind of way.
Yeah.
You know, from what you choose to eat, to where you choose to live, to what jobs you have, to what relationships you pursue, which relationships you decide to end. Like, these decisions alter your life in very profound ways that I don't think you can even appreciate until you look back. Like, when I look back on my life, it's wild. Like, there's no way that I think that I could even predicted, let's say if I was like 13 years old, the trajectory that my life would have taken from that point to now.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I had aspirations of what I want my life to be like and blah, blah, blah. But like, the relationships, the friendships, the experiences, the losses, the tragedies, like all of those things, like there's no way that I could have predicted. And I couldn't say that there was like one like critical decision that I've made that was more life altering perhaps than others. Now, granted, I haven't had a lot of time to think about this, so maybe I might be able to pinpoint, but I'm of the mindset that like every decision that you make is a life altering decision, and there are consequences and downstream impacts that you won't even be able to comprehend until after the fact.
Yeah, landed.
The biggest decision for me would have been where I decided to go to school. So when I applied to go to a school in Boston, I didn't think I was going to get in. I had decent grades. My SAT score was shit, but I didn't think I was going to get in, and I did. And moving to Boston was probably I don't even think I would know anyone in my life right now except for maybe one other person, like Mark and Josh, obviously, because I went to high school with them. I wouldn't know the people that I know. I would not have had the relationships that I've had, and still have. My current career, none of that would have happened had I not chosen to move to Boston. And I didn't know what I was getting into. I was just happy that I got into this great school. I will say that there are some decisions that maybe weren't the best, maybe could have done differently, shoulda, coulda, woulda. I wouldn't change a damn thing. And I think we were talking about a couple of weeks ago when Jerrell, Kerel, and myself were on the podcast. We were talking about relationships and or not relationships. We were talking about just growing up gay and not changing a thing. It may have been about relationships. I wouldn't change a thing. I've learned a lot, both in the constructive way and in the like, okay, you know what? I've learned to make better decisions. I've learned to trust my gut. I've learned to be more empathetic towards other people and what they are going through, both good and bad, which is something that I'm really proud of. So I think the only thing is for me is deciding to go to school in Boston. Didn't know a damn thing about Boston. It was racist as fuck then. Didn't know that then. Didn't know that then. And it took me a while to realize that actually until round two, when I moved back there for a job in 2017. So I would just say that's probably the only thing that really determined the course of my life. Wouldn't change a thing, just because it's made me the man I am today, and hopefully just again getting better every day.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with Dawon. I mean, there's obviously small things day to day that you just don't know how it alters that trajectory, and there's big things day to day that kind of alter. But like the first one that kind of pops in mind is probably where I ended up choosing college, because I almost turned down a full ride scholarship. And just knowing what I know now, just about loans and shit like that, like that would alter the course. But chose to go, and luckily came out of college debt free. So that's one. Another one's where I even started my first job out of college. Honestly, my goal at the time was to work for Daimler Chrysler. Well, what was Daimler Chrysler, whatever, Fiat Chrysler.
Fiat Chrysler.
And at the time, I was supposed to go back to college for another year and a half, but they decided to drop my minor the last semester because I didn't want my last semester to be 21 credit hours. Like, I had done that before, and that's just a lot. I was like, nope.
That's a lot.
I did. Lot. I probably averaged, throughout those 4 years, probably 18 credit hours.
Wow.
Like, every semester.
Yeah,
and
18 is,
I wouldn't suggest that to anyone. That's just a shit ton.
I mean, that's full time.
2 semesters that had 21 credit hours, because like I had a double major and a minor. And the minor, now they've, since I graduated, moved up to a major because there was just that many additional credit hours. Long story short, get to the last semester, I was like, I don't want to do 21 now, and then have to still come back for, like, it was going to be like 3 credit hours, just because I was like, it was either like 21, 24 credit hours to really get it all in, or be there for another thing. And I was like, financially, it doesn't make sense. You got to get another apartment. My scholarship was for 4 years, so I would have had to find money for that additional. So I was like, okay, drop it. Even though I knew I was supposed to go back to Daimler Chrysler for another internship, I was like, fuck it. ended up saying to my advisor, "Hey, I'm going to be graduating this year, actually," and ended up going down to interview for Bayer for like a project thing we were doing. And next thing you know, I started my career literally like 4 months later at like Bayer. So had no idea who Bayer was, even though I knew Bayer aspirin. Moved to freaking Indiana, didn't know what the hell Mishawaka, Indiana was. And, you know, so like looking at that and then just the trajectory that even Bayer took me from state to state, but then moving to Chicago and then literally the night I met Corey was not even supposed to be at Big Chicks. I was supposed to be out in like Wrigleyville with my roommate, but he got too drunk earlier at happy hour and decided like, oh, I'm not going out. So I was like, oh, you know, everyone keeps talking about this other gay bar, Big Chicks. Let me check out Big Chicks. Only reason I went that night, and then met Corey, and here we are, the rest of that history. So there's just these moments, like my decision to go to Big Chicks was a small moment. It was just like I had never been there. People on the apps were saying, oh, Big Chicks is a fun bar to go to. We go dancing there. I was like, okay, I like to dance. Literally, that's all the thought process was that night.
Wow.
Ended up taking a big trajectory in my life. And, you know, and so it's hard to, like you said, Dawon, to know in the moment sometimes making a decision where it's going to take you. A lot of times you just need to make a decision and make the best educated decision in that moment, honestly.
Yeah, you got to go with what you know.
Yeah.
You got to go with what you know at the time, and sometimes what you don't know.
Or even if you don't know, scare yourself. And maybe that's one thing too, is just like don't be afraid to be afraid, you know. I didn't know moving to Philly was going to do. I didn't know moving to Atlanta was going to do. I didn't know what moving to Chicago. I didn't know any of this, but sometimes you take the leap and life kind of surprises yourself. Like I'm one that tries to I'm a decent planner in a lot of things, but I would say a lot of the big stuff that's kind of occurred sometimes, thank God, the blessings and whoever praying for me, whatever, for them, that's what I believe. It worked out in a way, and it's like, here I am, thank you. You know, I did the work.
I do feel like,
but it worked out.
Now that I had a little bit of chance to think about it and hearing both of your responses, I do think that there are certain decisions that define a crossroads in one's life, right? Like, you know, for me, going away from home, my hometown, and going away to college was an opportunity for me to come out, right? And deciding where to go was going to determine like what my life was going to be like. So I ended up going to Kent State University, entered the fashion design program there. They have a phenomenal fashion design and merchandising program, number 3 in the nation. And I was also considering going to FIT here in New York. And I opted to go to Kent State as opposed to New York. And I think in that moment in deciding between where to go, I knew that was a big life decision, right? Like my life can go certain. I knew for a fact that my life would go this way or that way. Fast forward, working for Express in Columbus, Ohio, and you know, coincidentally, I meet my then, well, soon to be, but now ex, Christopher, and he was a stylist for Express and a couple other brands, but we never really worked together. And so, you know, when we met, shortly after we met and like started dating and whatnot, he had already had an apartment in Chicago, and he's the reason why I actually ended up moving to Chicago. So there was another crossroads from like, do we pursue this kind of like quasi long distance thing, because I knew that he wanted to really transition his life fully to Chicago, and I was really there, and there's no fashion in Chicago, no like corporate fashion, I should say. You know, so, or specialty apparel retail. And so, you know, I had to like decide, do I want to stay in kind of like the fashion lane, or do I want to depart and just find another job? And I found another job, you know, working in like telecommunications and whatnot, or for that industry. So it wasn't the industry that I was interested in, but I did it for love, you know? So it's like,
right.
You know, so it's like,
stay? Do I go? I don't know.
So it's like, I thinking back on the question, like, rudimentarily, yes, like almost every decision has like long-stream impacts you don't know. But I do feel like there are specific moments in when you look back, or some people may be thinking right now, like, I'm at a crossroads of what do I do? Like, do I take that job? Do I date this person? Do I, give up drinking, drugs, and alcohol? Do I, take that move? Do I, downsize my life? Do I,
take that shit in the middle of the dance. He was thinking in his head that day, like,
girl, crossroads. Yeah.
That was a bad road to go down. Girl, that was a bad road.
We're not going to Browntown again in this conversation. But yeah, like when I think on it, there are definitely moments where the decision is so profound that I think intrinsically that this is a crossroads. This is a defining moment in like my trajectory of the life that I'm going to have, right? Versus the life that I want. Right. And that's pretty interesting to like think about.
One thing, as you just commented, back when I was making some of these decisions of moving to Boston twice, moving to Chicago, leaving Chicago, like a whole bunch of decisions, in those moments I was never thinking about the life that I wanted to build and the life that I wanted in the future. I was always thinking about like, what do I want like right now? And I guess that's maybe a part of youth. And over the past, I would say, couple of years, pandemic really changed everything in regards to my view about my health, my emotional, spiritual, mental, all of that. And the racial injustice protest of 2020 really opened my eyes about like, what kind of life do I want? Because let's face it, these companies don't give a fuck about you. These companies don't give a fuck about you. Like, I know that I work with people. Let me just put this out there. I work with people that I know care about me. All right. Mm-hmm. But as an institution, as an organization, these companies are going to be there long after I have left this earth. So for a while, I was always living of like, what's going to allow me to like make the most money and do what I need to do for right now. And then I would say maybe just a little bit before pandemic. And then maybe as we were kind of going through that, we're still in it, by the way. As we're going through that, it just opened my eyes to like, okay, what kind of life do I want in the long run that's going to allow me to be successful for my own personal growth and goals? What's going to allow me to take care of my family? What's going to allow me to take care of my friends? I literally I'll put this out there. I told one of my best friends out in Providence, I was like, yo, I just want to make sure that you are protected and that like I take care of my friends. I want to make sure that you are always good. If you need anything, you let me know. You got to check in on your friends. And it just made me think about like making sure that I take care of me and mine. And mine includes my family, making sure that they are protected, that they are good, instead of this, I guess, grind, hustle, trying to live in the moment and just make a whole bunch of money and go out. Like, that's just not the life that I want to live. I want to be able to, I still want to do that because we're going to do that on Friday. But I think about now, like, where do I see myself in maybe a year from now, maybe a few years, and not necessarily make those decisions based on that, but what are my goals? What do I really want? I know I do not want to be in a position where I'm a Walmart greeter at 70. That's just not, I don't want to do that.
That
I don't
could
want
be fun.
to do that.
No shade.
Oh, no, don't knock it.
There's no shade. There's
could
no
be
shade.
fun.
I just know I will curse a bitch out at the front of the store. All right,
young man, what you got there?
Right.
You tell me about these newfangled TikToks. What is that all about?
Right.
What about those face ticks? So, and there's nothing wrong with that. I just know I don't want that for me. Yeah. For me, I don't want that because I'll curse the bitch out in the middle of the store.
He gonna be going viral and stuff because of bitches out. And honestly, this is, and we're kind of wrapping maybe on this though. this podcast came from one of those life-altering moments, honestly. Like, I got laid off from a job that I was in, that corporate grind and all that stuff. Always wanted to do a podcast, just didn't have the time. I was fucking traveling and all that shit all the time. And literally when it happened, I was in my feelings, don't get me wrong. Like, to get the realization, like you said, that a company that you thought gave a shit. And like you said, there's people there that absolutely did. Because, like, there were people after that helped me get the job I'm in now, et cetera, et cetera. But as a corporation, new regimes could come in all the time and not know who the hell Kerel is or who the hell Dawon is. Doesn't matter. Doesn't mean you don't care about your job and doing well and things like that. But I think that it gave me a shift in my thought process of how to approach life post a layoff.
Yeah.
And one thing I said, I was like, I am for sure going to do something that scares me a little bit, that I've always wanted to put time into, that I've never had a chance to put time into, and that will hopefully lay foundation just in case I go through that same shit again, you know?
Yeah.
And just knowing that. So, like, it's interesting to have this conversation now. Here we are 3.5, almost 4 years later, of thinking of life-altering moments and the conversations we've had, the friendships that have formed, the people we've met, and the DMs, the emails that we've been able to receive of people trusting us with some of their vulnerability and shit. Like, that's wild. And so again, just life-altering moments that you just don't know where it's going to lead to, but just sometimes trusting the process. It sucks in the moment. Getting laid off is scary. Getting laid off for something that you were actually enjoying is scary and that you don't have control of. Death, that's scary and it's sad. There's just moments, sickness and all this stuff. There's just moments in life, and it can be positive stuff as well. But just sometimes take that moment, take it in, digest it, and just know, you know what, this shakeup is going to be something that I can't even predict, and trust in the process, because it usually will work out for something that you needed to work out for, that you can't even see a year, 2 years, 10 years, 50 years down the line. So, So thank you for that question. That was a cool one.
It's a great question.
And continue to say your Ask Your Aunties, by the way. Like, we need new ones. We know we're at the end of the year.
It can be about anything. It can be about anything.
This was cool where it was like short to the point. It doesn't have to be a long relationship troubles. Send those in though. We like those as well. But it could just be anything, maybe thought starters or anything like that's just kind of on your mind. So continue to send those to aya@minorityareport.com or DM us. I'm looking over here, like doing that whole thing. I'm just looking at. So today we're recording on. This has happened a couple times over time, where it's like we record on a night where a lot of shit's going on. Naivety, is that a word, Dawon? Naivete. It's kind of nice because we don't know what's going to occur by the end of tonight. Yeah. And so when this episode comes out, we will have known by then. So hopefully there's still a little joy in this episode, and hopefully there's joy after this shit. Yes. But looking at some of these wins or projections coming in, I'm like, oh, we'll see what happens there. So that's why we're not talking about it tonight, by the way. So if y'all be like, damn, this happened and y'all ain't said shit. Well, we recorded before and during, and we're enjoying this little ignorance is bliss moment.
And we need a break too. Damn. Good Lord. Look. Come January, there's gonna be enough political shenanigans going on. So y'all getting a break.
It's gonna come before that.
Well, not on this podcast.
Not on this podcast.
That part. So quickly, Landon, we have you on here. So this will be the last thing. We got like 10 minutes. We're finally together to talk about a strange loop. So we kind of hinted at it last episode. We didn't want to spill too many beans because we knew Landon would be coming up on an upcoming episode. We kind of gave the preview. What were your initial thoughts? And then we'll also get to the bar, your thoughts about the bar, because we told you how you wasn't paying that dude no mind. What was your initial thoughts and overall view?
As I was listening to the podcast, I went and downloaded the soundtrack to, and listening to some of the songs, I started to have some of the same magical, heartfelt, almost teary-eyed moments of like, what I experienced at the show.
Yeah.
And I agree with you in the previous, by now would been last week's episode, that one of the most amazing things I've ever seen in regards to creativity and art, and then to really bring in some truly amazing talent from all sorts of backgrounds, Black talent, obviously, but seeing, I'll put this out there because it's not a part of the show, but there's a person, not a character, but a person that plays a character who is trans. And we learned that you obviously wouldn't have known. We learned that during that sit down with Bob the Drag Queen. So it was really awesome to, I just can't even put it in words. And if you are in the New York area, you can get on a train, if you can do a little bit of a road trip, this is something worth going to. Plan a weekend, because number one, we have to support each other. This show is closing, and we have to support each other. We have to support Black art, Black creativity, and just the magic that this cast put together. It was so amazing. And as I was listening to the music, I almost forgot we had to record. I was sitting here just chilling, and I can't wait to go see it again. I've literally been thinking about it for the past 2 weeks. And there was a lady at the gym I work at. She had told me about it, and she's white, and she said, bring tissues. I was like, oh, okay. And at first I was like, okay, and I didn't know what it was about. So Dawon, I am with you in that. I'm glad that I didn't do any research.
Yeah.
And some of those moments where Dawon was just hooting and hollering, oh my God!
Dawon was enjoying himself, right?
Listen, Dawon and I were grabbing each other's hands and grabbing on for dear life because we were laughing so damn hard. And I think the audacity of so much of that, of the plot line, is what is truly both riveting, jarring, and just amazing. So I can't wait to go see it again.
I want to see it again too. Yeah, like
I don't know if I want to see it again.
Oh, you
going?
You kind of wanted to live in that magical
Yeah.
moment. Yeah.
Like if there was another Black queer night, I would go. Okay. I just feel like part of what, like, the show is phenomenal. Yeah. But I also feel like because I knew that it was a Black queer night, especially, and the audience was predominantly Black and queer, there was just extra sauce. Just extra sauce.
You would have had the same. Would you felt as comfortable laughing out loud and screaming if it weren't a queer Black night?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so, because part of it is the gay gasp, the Black gasp that's happening all throughout the entire theater. Yeah. And I had several people say to me, "Oh, it's just so heartfelt. You're going to be crying." I didn't cry.
Yeah.
I got a little teary-eyed. Right. I got a little. There was a brief moment, a little bit towards the end,
when
where
he was having sex with the old white man.
No, I didn't cry about that.
I mean, not to say I'm out to have sex with the old white man, but not that scene.
But look, it's gonna happen to all of us at some point.
The MapQuest Dick days, honey. The stories. I still haven't even shared on here.
Oh my God. There was a part towards the end that I started to get a little teary-eyed, and then it was a trick, and so I dried up real quick. I said, "Fuck that bitch," and I was just like, you know what? You're not getting these tears. But
I know what part you're talking about.
Yeah. So I want to see it again immediately. Because number one, it was funny and great, and I just want to support these amazing actors that just I don't know who they are. I didn't know who they were, but now I like, where they gonna be at? What's the next show? Where they gonna be at?
Yeah, I immediately.
That's what I want to do.
Just because like social media is maybe the new currency in a way.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, especially in creator land and entertainment world, they'll immediately look at what's your numbers, how many followers you have, and things like that. So any way I can help them get their follower up, I'm all for it, because they were just so talented and they deserve all the shine and recognition in that realm as possible, or even outside that realm. Like if they want to transition to a different medium or whatever it is, any way that we can help, that I personally can help, by simply just saying, I follow you, I support you, keep going, I'm here for that shit. Yeah. Even 2 weeks on now, that was special. Like you said, Dawon, that was a special
It was
night.
very, very, very just magical and special for so many reasons. But I'll tell you what wasn't magical and special.
Your boyfriend at
Jason
the bar.
from Hammond, Indiana.
And community, if you haven't heard this story, listen to last week's episode first before we get Landon's interpretation
yourself.
of that.
I was cracking up. I was cracking up because I was listening as I got home from work. I was like, oh, let me listen to the rest of the podcast. And then so I finally get to that part, and I didn't even think about in that moment, like, it was that obvious that I wasn't feeling it. Like,
I was not feeling it at all. It was very obvious.
It was
Because you were
very
sitting there
obvious.
like this.
Yeah.
And like, so like community. So it was like, Dawon was like in the corner of the booth. Landon was like in between us. I was originally on the booth as well. But then homeboy Tornado came through, and I ended up sitting on like a little, like, I don't know, ottoman kind of thing. And he kind of first started on our left side, then ended up on the booth next to Landon too. And Landon was sitting there like, and like Dawon and I were like entertained, and we're like, okay, at this point it is what it is. Like, shit, it's kind of funny.
Well, no. So, one, you know, he came in and just like you said, Kerel, oh, I'm looking for my Asian friend. I was like, the Irish guy got Irish goodbyed. Your friend left. Okay? Your friend left you because you're drunk and you're messy. So you need to go too. And so
he did spill his drink and broke a glass.
It broke the glass. I forgot about that. You're right.
But the part that was really okay, so being all up, you know, kind of crashing our party because we wanted to decompress, just like you mentioned last week. Okay, but then there's like, you know how like us girls, when we're with our girls, you know, the affectionate touching, you know, he was doing that. And I was like, I don't know where your COVIDy ass hands have been.
Not your COVIDy ass.
I don't know where those have been. Don't touch me like that. So,
and here's the funny thing that I'm sitting here just thinking that just occurred to me. I made him follow our podcast. Like I push subscribe on his phone.
well,
So if you're listening to this episode,
now you know, bitch.
So hey, boo, leave us a message, a comment if it was you, and we want your perspective. What were you thinking? Were you drunk? Were you high? Or just that's your energy?
he was just all up in the personal space and the touching, and I was like,
Landon was not feeling it.
no, I was not feeling it at all. And you know what? Looking back, I know my face was obvious. Because listen, if I don't tell you, this face will.
1,000.
Yeah.
1,000%.
He picked up on it. He was like, I know I can talk to these two.
Right. And we were like, okay, whatever. And we just kept it going. Part of me kept it going too because I just love Landon's reactions and shit.
It was also just like that was definitely a New York City moment. Like that was a moment where like this conversation can go anywhere from here, and that's why I was like, part of me was like, go, like we just trying to have a little black moment to ourselves, and here your white ass coming around here.
Right.
But he
totally
like,
Jimmy Kimmel'd us.
Lay down
in front of he Kimmel's the moment. Kimmel, that's a verb now. It's an action verb.
But he was so like engaging and fun and had a great, you know, personality and just fearless and very like it was fun. It was fun. So it made for a fun night. That's for sure.
I guess
Two episodes of content on here.
That's true. It's true. I give you that. I guess it hadn't been any other night where we were just going out and we were ready to talk and like gag because we obviously Kerel's kind of in town. I hadn't seen Dawon in a while. So it was kind of like one of those things of like, okay, I'm with my girls.
Yeah.
And this is a special night in a way.
Yeah.
And your COVID ass just kind of came over. We don't know where you've been. And then wait. And I will say this: we allowed him to buy us a drink, and we were like, he can roofie that shit.
I forgot about that. I was like, "Ooh, y'all, we better watch this hoe." I was like, I got that Dahmer still in my mind.
When we were recapping the Dahmer, I think we all said, "Yeah, we would have got."
Damn, we almost got again recent shit in New York on a random queer black night.
Dawon, I was thinking about, because as I was listening to the podcast, I said, this bitch is gonna call me out for being late to the dinner. And then I was thinking to myself, everybody know a nigga got at least a 5-hour grace period in New York.
Jerrell be saying that shit.
So I'm just putting that out there.
Did we call y'all for being late? Did we say that?
No, he said he was going to. I'm doing a little preemptive strike just in case, because them eyes look a little devious. So
we didn't even say nothing.
So I'm just putting it out there. It's New York, shit.
But yeah, no, community, definitely go see it.
Go out there, please.
Won't be disappointed.
Please, and if we do end up seeing it again, it probably wouldn't even be in November. So if you end up like deciding to go sometime in December or January, throw it in the DMs. Maybe we meet up.
Let's see what the
I would love to see it again. It's January 15th. I already looked.
15th. Okay.
Yeah.
So you have to the 15th. So it could be good Christmas gifts,
or
holiday gifts,
stuff
and stockers.
Such a great show. Oh, just an amazing, just amazing. You will not be disappointed.
Yeah.
Well, and then community, I know this weekend a lot of y'all care about World Cup soccer, so that's starting on November 20th, I believe. So that's your little sports moment. We haven't had a sports moment in a while. I know Dawon usually be like, "Girl, I don't give a damn." But yeah, World Cup's going. So usually I watch World Cup. It's kind of exciting just to see literally a sport bigger than the shit that we care about here just take over the planet, like people. I mean, even here in the country, but the planet be going insane for some soccer, some football. So, and then fuck you, Indianapolis Colts, for hiring a white dude that ain't got no coaching skills, but there's a lot of black football coaches available out there. So that's
wow.
That's all And on that note, wash your hands, wash your legs, wash your ass. Bye.
Peace.
Bye, everybody.